Harper. We'll let her begin with an opening statement, and then we'll take your questions.
Yeah, well, obviously I'm disappointed in the outcome of the game. We think our players got a lesson, and you're going to see everyone's best effort. Obviously, Auburn played a really, really good basketball game. They've been knocking at the door here in some games recently and just weren't able to close it out. But I tell you, they played with great aggressiveness all night long. I thought they had us on our heels quite a bit. I thought for the first time in a long time, we looked a little frustrated out on the court. Have to credit Auburn for that. And they did a really good job on the boards. And obviously our turnovers were an issue. But, for me and the way we've been playing and you pick up a stat sheet, one of the biggest things that I'm disappointed in was our defense and allowing 71 points. I think we can guard better. We didn't, and credit Auburn for making plays.
All right, we'll take our first question from Maria.
Coach, you as a player and a coach know that at some point turnovers are going to catch up with the team. And it sometimes it's not the number, but the timing of them, particularly when you're trying to make a charge back in the fourth quarter. Do you think that every moment a teaching moment, as we've heard before, is this a moment where you really get the team's attention on the importance of ball security?
They understand that. They do. It's just a matter of execution. They get it. I mean, they can tell you we work on it, we talk about it, we watch film on it. So they didn't need the lesson. They get it. But we just got to execute better. I thought tonight several turnovers resulted in us over dribbling with bad spacing. And that's trying to force a few things that weren't there. And that's on us. Our spacing has to be better to give ourselves more freedom to make plays. And then if it's not there, you can't force it.
Cora.
Kellie, your team has been really good about closing out games in the fourth quarter, making comebacks. What was it about tonight that your team just couldn't finish it?
Yeah, well, I think down the stretch, Auburn made plays. We had a few defensive possessions that were just breakdowns, and we came down and had some empty possessions that you just got to score on. And I thought our decision making down the stretch could have been better, as well as our one-on-one defense. I thought it needed to be better in that fourth quarter.
Maria.
How difficult was the loss of Kid Green on the team? I mean, not just from a standpoint on the court, but the fact that she's such an emotional leader for the team too.
I think losing her shook our confidence for sure. And I think when the game got tight, I also think that's where our players went. I think we lacked a little bit of confidence. The timing was not good for us. To lose her and then to have a game like this where you really needed her in there to be able to help on the boards, help be a presence on both ends of the court. That's where they've got to be able to now find that confidence in themselves and each other. I thought we looked a little shaky, and it's a little bit of concern, to be honest with you. Obviously you got to move on. We don't have her. So now it's a little bit of concern that the team's got to be okay. And they got to be able to pick this back up. We've handled adversity all year. So we've got to be able to do this.
Madison.
Coach, when it comes to just scoring in the paint, you were even with Auburn, and they kind of led you in the paint throughout the game in the second half. Both scored 30 points in the paint. Is that concerning at all that your paint presence wasn't like it normally is game in and game out? For sure. We did not have the presence in the paint. I thought they did a really nice job of keeping us out of there, collapsing in.
They did a good job of keeping us from getting the ball inside. We've got to be able to continue to play the way we want to play, regardless of team's game plan. But also they're playing really without their starting post player. She did not play. Their big was not there. And so they got a lot of their paint touches or paint scores. Obviously, Koulibaly played outstanding. She scored a lot in the paint, but their guards were able to penetrate, kick, penetrate, dish a lot. So we didn't guard as well as we needed to. I will say them not having their post player, I think, hurt us, to be honest with you, because now they're trying to get us spread out even more, because we got 5 players that can make shots from the perimeter.
Cora.
Jordan Walker said that they just didn't play your game, and Auburn was able to disrupt that game plan. How do you remedy that going forward and get your team back on track when maybe the third quarter they're not executing the game plan?
Yeah, I think we've just got to focus in on what we can control, and we'll go and watch film on this, and we'll talk it through, and we'll practice some things. But it's got to be a mindset. It's got to be on our players. And, I think, again, what you have to expect now, I told our team they've earned this right to walk into a gym and you're going to see everybody's best effort. They've earned the right. Now we got to handle it. You got to deal with that. You got to be able to play at that level. I've said it all year. You take a night off in the SEC, it doesn't matter who you play. You're not going home with a win. This is a great example of that. We've got to get back to guarding. We've got to do a good job on the boards. We've got to get the ball inside. We got to and that's us. And that's us being us. I think our team knows it, but we've got to execute it, go out and make sure it gets done.
Madison.
Could you talk about working on things and fixing things that you can control? I know you talked a little bit about the turnovers, but were some of those turnovers things that they could have controlled, or were you okay with some of the aggressive turnovers that did happen in tonight's game?
Well, I think the problem that I had with some of them were just some decisions weren't good. And then again, I thought some of our turnovers are again, our spacing and our over dribbling. I thought we dribbled too much, kind of playing with the ball a little too much. You got to be tighter, got to be sharper, got to find more passes, I think. And it was the whole thing. I mean, we got to work to get open so that you can have those passes. And then, if somebody's got the ball, you can't go crowd the ball. It's just a lot. I thought we looked a little bit, we weren't in sync offensively. Now, you got to credit Auburn for that. Obviously, their defense had something to do with that. I think they had a lot to do with it. But, we've got to be able to figure that out regardless of what kind of defense we're seeing.
Take one final question from Maria.
Coach, I don't want to call it a wake-up call because your team has shown its maturity and ability to handle all kinds of adversity. They don't need a wake-up call, but in terms of a teaching moment, what kind of moments do you have here for your team going forward?
Well, yeah, I agree. I didn't, I think the teaching moment is a reminder of you've got to play every night, and it's not just play every night. You got to play really well every night to get winning is hard. And we've said that winning is hard. I think the biggest thing that we've got to be able to do is learn how to handle this moment. How are we going to handle this moment? And how are we going to be able to bounce back? Where is our confidence coming out of this? That's going to be the biggest, I don't know if it's lesson, but it's definitely going to be the biggest challenge for us, in my opinion, hands down. Are we going to come out of this with motivation and fire, or are we going to be a little shaky with our confidence? And I say that again, I will go back to just the timing of Ken's injury and then this loss, I think now, you know, we got to make sure that we're highly motivated to come out with a lot of energy, a lot of fight, a lot of passion, not just in games, but make sure practices as well.
All right, thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you guys.